The requirements page is where you configure your organization's training requirements, also referred to as a training matrix. This feature allows you to define which groups, job roles, or individuals require training on a particular course, when it is due, and how often the training should be repeated. The status on the required training reports is automatically updated as training is completed, personnel requirements are changed, or expiring training comes due. Let's take a look at the detail page for a training requirement. In the course assignment section, you can select a course, and then choose which groups, job roles, or individuals are required to take the course. We recommend assigning the required training by group or job role whenever possible to make the maintenance easier. When you set up the required training by group or job role, it will automatically be required for any individual who moves into that group or job role in the future. Likewise, it will be automatically removed from the required training for anyone who moves out of the group or job role. Keep in mind that each person can have multiple job roles in Training Manager, to reflect the real-world roles that the individuals have in the organization. The job roles are not required to have a one-to-one match with organizational job titles. This means that whenever you have a course or set of courses which are required, you should consider whether it is appropriate to create a job role, and then assign the required training to that job role rather than to an individual. This allows you to move toward a higher level of management, and away from configuring each training requirement separately at the individual level. In some cases, you may need to exclude just one or two groups or individuals from a training requirement. You can exclude these personnel in the exclusions section. For example, if you have a course which is required by everyone in the company except for a certain group, you can exclude that group here. In addition, you can exclude specific job roles or individuals. Next, let's take a look at the initial training section. Here you can configure when the first training is due. You may provide a grace period for new hires so the training does not show up as overdue on their first day. By setting a grace period, the training will still show that it is due, but the status will be untrained. If the grace period expires before the training is completed, the status will change from untrained to overdue. Alternatively, you can set the training to be due immediately, with no grace period, or by a specific date. If the training can expire and requires periodic retraining, you can set the retraining frequency to repeat every year or as needed. Alternatively, you can set the retraining to be required when the course version changes. This is often used by companies which train on standard operating procedures. When a procedure is being updated, add a new course version to the course record, and set an effective date. Training will appear due on required training reports as the effective date for the change approaches, and the status will change to overdue if the training is not completed before the procedure becomes effective. You can filter the required training report by the expiration date to find training that will be due soon, or you can filter for a specific status, or by course, category, person, etc. The required training summary report provides an overall summary, and it can be grouped by supervisor to provide each supervisor with a list of the training required for their direct reports. As with other reports, you can also group by course, student, location, shift, etc.